Similarly, there is a fire wash. This fire wash, we call it klesha nashana kriya. That means an act which will take away the impurities that gather around you. We are inclusive, not by choice. We are inclusive by the nature of our existence. We have been always trying to produce good human beings, which is a terrible mistake. We need more joyful and sensible human beings.
From Siachen to now the Andamans, which next corner of the world are you going to take yoga to?
Siachen to Andaman is because it's the same forces. And as you know, this is the only place where the Triforce Command is there. I feel these men and women who are away from their families literally 8 to 10 months in a year in service of the nation, it's not just being away from the families, a certain level of hardship, risk, constantly, a job where you may not come home, it's not a simple thing. For them, I feel the many dimensions of yoga are most vital. This is why I'm trying to bring focus on the forces, because if we do not offer the best tools we have to them, then how are we a nation? So that's why Siachen to Andaman. The journalist yesterday, Wushu, who was interviewing me, asked, Sadhguru, you are not with your yoga family, you're… every year, year after year, you're being with the defense forces, why? So I told her, people who are willing to live and die for you, if they are not your family, who is your family?
Just prepare for the day, it will happen. And it happened, and it's for all of us to see. Even the clouds gave way for the yoga. It was excellent.
He was talking about the shape of a ship, and if I may use the word, he chose to challenge the people who know the ship, and we realized that he knows a lot about it. So that was something really wonderful. Overall, it was a very enriching experience. The Upa Yoga that we did today morning, I think I'll definitely make it a part of my life.
Generally, this dishti is a very big thing. Dishti tells kada.
Daily snanal chestar. No, why I'm asking is in Chennai they're having bath once in 3 days. You need to understand, this body is made of fundamentally 5 elements of earth, water, fire, air and space. This season in our yoga center, because we have a wind tunnel, so at this time, all our people are doing sadhana just standing in the wind like this, because this is a wind wash. Water wash you're doing every day, wind wash you can do. People, yogis were always smearing themselves with earth, but today that's become mud bath in the spa, okay? So mud bath is there. Similarly, there is a fire wash. This fire wash, we call it klesha nashana kriya. That means an act which will take away the impurities that gather around you. Because your body is not just here, your body doesn't stop here, it extends itself. Have you noticed, if somebody comes too close, right there itself there is a feeling that, you want some distance. So you gather material on your body, you wash it. Similarly, you're gathering other kinds of material upon your energetic system. You can wash this water with water, certain impurities will go with that. If you wash it with air, certain other things will go. Similarly, there's a fire wash, which you're calling drishti. If you come to the yoga center, we're doing this klesha nashana kriya in a scientific manner, how it should happen. We have relieved people of various chronic ailments just by this fire wash.
Our first death of a patient, we are very moved. But gradually, as we come across, if and when we do come across more deaths, we become very nonchalant and unperturbed. Do you think this desensitization towards death in the medical profession is compromising our humanity?
If you're nonchalant, definitely. But being a doctor, every dead body you see, if you're going to cry, then that's going to be a very big problem. Because when you're emotionally pitched up, you cannot do things sensibly. Everybody knows this, isn't it? Very important. Well, if somebody is dying of old age, it's a different matter. But a whole lot of people might have come to you because of injury, because of some other ailment, something fit enough to live, but you have to do the right things for them to live. So if your heart is pumping hard when you see your patient breathing hard, then you will definitely do something to kill him. It's very important that you learn to treat it as professionally as possible. This doesn't mean you're nonchalant. Nonchalant is not the word. Unperturbed, but concerned that you must live. The way you're addressing the question, I'm not picking on you, the way you're addressing the question is a doctor is supposed to see lots of deaths. Doctor should see minimum number of deaths on their table. Hello? That's a good thing. Here we are at the French Room in the League of Nations building, or what is today United Nations. Here is the old symbol of League of Nations, LSN, Ligue and Société and Nation in French. My French is terrible, as you know. So, here we are. This is a historic building in many ways. This is the first effort in the world to somehow bring some kind of confluence of all nations on the planet. Well, it was not a full-fledged success because the World War II came, and that's how the United Nations came into place. All this we must understand are efforts to kind of imitate human consciousness without really becoming conscious. But their value is they have avoided and created various situations, avoided various situations of conflict and restrained various situations of conflict, and also brought conflict resolution to many places. Well, they've not been able to stop every war that has happened, but definitely it has been a positive force of at least all human beings attempting to create a platform that could be a solution for the world. That's the effort you see here. This is coming from human intent, good intent, but it is an imitation of human consciousness, really.
If inclusiveness is the very basis of spirituality, how can we enable communities, especially our young people, to grow up with the belief of inclusiveness?
We are inclusive not by choice. We are inclusive by the nature of our existence. It's only by constant transaction with just about anything and everything that we are existing here. The complexity of what makes this creation, we are a consequence of that. But the magnanimity of creation has given us an individual experience. It's a tremendous thing. But we have taken this individual experience rather too seriously. So seriously that we think we are a world by ourselves, each person.
What can schools do to inculcate ethical living in a joyful way?
The moment you have lot of ethics, your face becomes long. We must look at it more fundamentally, isn't it? rather than stopping it with a value that I set for my, no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. So please understand this. Just try this right now. Shall we try an experiment with your mind? Next 30 seconds, nobody should think of a monkey. Try. Please close your eyes and try. Oh, only monkeys, isn't it? This is the nature of your mind. In your mind, if you say, I will not, only that will go on. Why are you making life so difficult? Why do you think you are born wrong and you have to be fixed? No. You call this religion, you call this education, you call this morals, you call this values. For religions and ideologies and philosophies, we have killed more people than for crime, isn't it so? Hello?
Excellent.
So, all these morals, ethics, values, philosophies, ideologies are only an effort to prevent crime. We have been always trying to produce good human beings, which is a terrible mistake. We need more joyful and sensible human beings. This is what yoga is about. When you're joyful, you want to kill somebody? Hello? Only when you're miserable you want to kill somebody, isn't it?
Right now, there are so many burnout syndromes, young people losing, their minds, losing their orientation, millennials and the Generation Y. So what is your advice for them?
See, this is because they're trying to upgrade their activity without upgrading the machine. Without upgrading the capability of this machine, if you upgrade the activity, you will burn out. It is like you took a streetcar on a Formula 1 track, it'll burn out. So they want to speed without upgrading the machine. This is all they need to focus on, how to upgrade this life. If you keep on upgrading this life, activity will naturally follow.
So my question, it's a little personal based on where I live. So I live in Montana. Much of Montana is very rural. There are only about 900,000 people in the whole state. There are more cows than people in Montana. But there's a lot of poverty in Montana. People really struggle to earn a living there. So people often are working 2, 3 jobs, very busy, not such great access to fresh food or good food unless it's grown there. And one of the things that you said today really resonated with me tonight was, when you wake up in the morning, how do you feel? And so people don't think it's okay to think about themselves and think about how they're feeling and what they need to do each day. So how do you begin to tell somebody that has to work 12 hours a day, working 2 jobs, comes home to a family, to start engaging in some of these more spiritual and more self-realization types of practices? Because my experience has been, well, I'm too busy, this would be great. I can get up in the morning and maybe drink some warm water or do something, but to actually take the time to think about themselves is very hard.
So if you think that the work that you're doing is very important, then the first thing that you need to do is work upon yourself. How do you enhance your work without enhancing yourself? You are not going to do anything more than yourself, isn't it? Everything that you do is just an expression of who you are. Without enhancing this, the nature and the quality of your work will never enhance. Strive as much as you can. Right now, this is the problem with the world. Most people are suffering so many things, enormous amount of stress in their day-to-day activity just to earn a living, which every worm, insect, bird is doing. But human beings with such a huge brain are going through such a struggle just to earn a living, simply because they're trying to enhance their activity rather than enhancing the person, the me. If you do not enhance this one and you try to enhance activity, it is like you took your old beat-up Ford in Montana on a F1 racetrack. Well, it's going to fly in different directions. You need to have an appropriate machine to get onto the track. So if you think your work and family deserve a better deal, you must work upon yourself. If you don't invest on this one, there will be really no result, only just wasteful striving. It is very important that this must be enhanced if we want to enhance the work, there is no other way to do it. Our defense forces, all these people who talk all kinds of irresponsible things, I would like them to go and spend some time. I just went to various places, particularly Siachen. It's not the enemy who kills them, it's just the weather and the terrain which kills them every day. Do you understand? It's the harshest weather and harshest terrain because lines were drawn by some irresponsible people between two nations. And all kinds of places where you cannot live, those kind of places you're trying to defend on a daily basis. So, these forces, when they need something, without much fuss, quickly it should happen. Now the entire world knows what kind of aircraft we are buying and what capabilities it has. This is not the way to conduct your defense, all right? We have gotten used to handling everything through agents. Now government to government when it comes, everybody wants to know. When the agents handled, nobody knew what the hell is happening, right? Now when it comes to an aircraft, a fighter bomber aircraft, I don't know why this was not articulated properly. What I'm saying is, you're buying an airplane, not a missile, all right? They're talking about a bare aircraft and a loaded aircraft. Once it is loaded, is it enough? I'm asking. It is loaded once, is it enough? So how many loads do you want to have? Whatever armament it has, how many times do you want to reload it? You want to tell the whole world, we've got only 12 reloads? I'm asking, is that a sensible thing to do?
Not at all.
So maybe we have 50 reloads, maybe we have 100 reloads, we don't want to tell you. It's nobody's business to know, even I should not know, you should not know, because if you and me know, everybody in the world will know. So are you buying a missile or an aircraft? When you buy an aircraft and there are specific armaments designed for us, how many reloads do you want? Suppose you get into your battle tomorrow, how many reloads do you want? One will do, somebody thinks one will do, unfortunate. To be a teacher, you must know something, isn't it? To be a guru, you need not know anything. It's just that you don't know anything, but you got eyes to see. Whatever you want, you can look and speak. But to be a teacher, you have to know something. If you don't know anything, you can't make a teacher, isn't it? To be a guru, you don't need to know anything. Just a certain level of perception, that's all. You're not knowledgeable about anything. It's easy. Being a teacher is difficult because you'll have to remember so many things. Huh?
Should we become gurus?
I'm sorry?
Should we become gurus?
Thing is, you never try to become a guru. If people notice that you have a certain level of perception, people will recognize you as one. You never ever try to become one. I've done everything to shake off the guru thing, but you cannot because people will one way or the other recognize it, wherever you may be. Whether you're in India or otherwise, they may not call you, use the word guru, but nowhere in the world, if you found a human being whose perception is beyond yours, could you ignore him? People naturally gathered around them. Maybe they didn't use the word guru, they used something else. But always it happened, isn't it? Whichever part of it is just that in other parts of the world, individual people popped up by themselves without a systemic support. In India, people popped up because there's a systemic support, more popped up. In other places, there is no systemic support, so out of their own thing, people popped up. When they popped up, they got chopped down usually, because there's no systemic support to recognize them. But nobody went unrecognized. I'm sure they gathered a few people and somebody else came and battered them down, isn't it? So, it doesn't matter which part of the world it is. If people notice a certain dimension of perception, naturally he will be recognized as the one who perceives. Usually, in India, we identify people as saints, sages and seers. Saints means they have attained to a certain level of pleasantness. They can bless people. In their presence, everybody feels pleasant, some well-being happens. But they don't teach anything, they only bless. Sages means they have some grasp. They have become pleasant, their energies have become pleasant, but they have also grasped some knowledge, particular dimensions of knowledge. A sage may be good with astronomy or astrology or with some other dimension. All the Indian mathematics has come from sages, not from university academics. It is sages who came up with mathematics and music. You heard of this? Shiva himself is a great mathematician, musician, dancer, all these things because math came naturally when somebody looked deep enough into the existence. The mathematic background of it started finding expression in human intelligence and so they naturally became mathematicians. You must read the story of people like Ramanujam and others there. They are brilliant mathematicians without any academic support because a certain level of observation, which is a sage. A seer means one who sees. See, it's a very appropriate expression, one who sees life just the way it is. Does it mean others don't see? Yes, others don't see. For others, their sense organs are interpreting. See, right now, your sense perception is interpreting this is day, night is going to come after this many hours. You ask the creatures in the forest, their senses are interpreting this is night, day will come after a few hours right now. So, it is the interpretation of the senses that you know, you are not seeing. A seer means he is seeing it the way it is. So usually or always, a saint will never claim to be a guru. Leave what's happening today in modern society. I'm saying in the tradition, a saint never claimed to be a guru. He was only a saint. He knows that his thing is he's become like a flower, he can bless. His fragrance will impact people, that's all he is. A sage is somebody who's always trying to explore a certain dimension of life. He can teach, he can do things. A seer is somebody who simply sees, he can do whatever, any of these things he can do or he may choose not to do anything. It's up to him what he chooses to do. He will do what is needed in the society at that time, or if he's not bothered, he will leave it and just sit. But he sees. So a guru must see, otherwise he cannot be a guru. He must be able to see. See does not mean, can you tell me what's my future? Your future is hopeless, if you're asking that question. If you're asking that question, it's a hopeless future because if your idea of your future being better is only a question of will I get the job, will I have money, will I pay my taxes, will I pay my bills? This is not a future. You're just becoming a particle in the existence, you know, you will go round and round in some way. So, future, once you see a certain way that the life is manifesting today, if I say if you do this, this and this, it can manifest in some other way. If I can suggest the right thing to you, that is because you have seen, so that is a seer. If one cannot see, he should not be a guru. seeing not just the human aspect of it, the existential aspect of it, to be able to see. These days, some technologies have come, I don't know the names of these technologies, but some things I saw are really phenomenal, okay? See, right now, if you sit here, let's say you're doing asanas, let us say you do all these asanas and you go away. Now in the space where you did asanas, there is a certain memory. Today, there are, whatever they call them, I don't know what, there are ways to image this. You sat here, did something and went. Now they can come and image this, what all your things that you did. What is the use of this, how to go to this, they can only think in terms of war, okay? They'll think how to use it in the military usage, that's a different thing. But if you do asanas here and you go away, if I walk into this hall, I will see what you have done, your asana. Is it a process of liberation or is it a way of tying yourself into knots? This can be seen. If I see you're doing something like this, then it is not said you're doing this, do this, we will suggest something else. You must have the sense to just do that. Some simple thing I'll say, hey, why don't you take a walk and come? Why should I go for a walk? Morning I walked. Okay. Because the moment you try to logically decipher these things won't work. So always these things are done in subtle ways. Only few people have the sense to follow those subtle instructions. All of them will question and debate, discuss with everybody and destroy it in no time. So, okay, wait for another 12 years, let's see. Moments come in one's life. In one's cycle of doing things, certain moments come in your life. At that moment when the necessary intervention is made, if you don't take it, that moment will pass and we'll have to wait. If you have the power to create your own moment, not waiting for any cycles, that would be the most fantastic thing to do. But not everybody is there, they will have to wait for that moment. But when that moment comes, naturally instructions will come. Now when I say this, all kinds of flaky minds will start looking at everything as a sign from California, you know. They receive all kinds of signs every day. So there is a danger to these things, but at least when proper verbal instructions are given, people should have the sense to do it. Otherwise, because if I try to explain and do it, it'll not work. Why will it not work? Why can't you do this? Why… See, this is the simple thing. Between your body, physical body and your mind, there's a certain subtlety that what happens in your mind cannot be interpreted the same way as we interpret the physical moments, isn't it? What happens in your emotion cannot be logically interpreted as it happens in your mind, isn't it so? As things get subtle, it becomes less and less available to the logical process. If we do not understand this logic, if you try to handle everything as you handle physical material, human beings will die. If you try to handle human beings as physical quantities, you will see nobody will be with you, isn't it? Yes or no? Don't you relax the rules of the physical for handle human beings? Somebody is far away, you say 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 4 people. But if they're with you in your home, as your family, don't you relax the laws of physical to interact with them? If you don't, you will not know any human being on this planet. So this relaxation has to progress. As it goes, if your life has to evolve, you must release more and more things from this. But for doing this, you must have a very stable, logical mind. If you don't have this, you will go off into hallucinatory processes. This is the thing about spiritual process, that if you establish a very stable body and stable mind, then we can take you into illogical things experientially. If you do not establish this, if we take you into one illogical experience, after that your imagination will run in such a way, you are doing hallucination and thinking it's real. hallucination can be more powerful than the real. Actually it is, because it's exaggerated. People love people that they have not seen more than people they have seen. They go to a cinema. Whatever this Rajinikanth or this Tom Cruise or Amitabh Bachchan is a much bigger guy and people love him more than the people who are sitting next to them. Because it's all exaggerated, isn't it? Because it's so exaggerated, the man is so big, he speaks so loud and everything that he does is big. The people who are sitting next to you, they can't look that big, they can't sound so big, they can't do anything so big. So, hallucination is an exaggerated reality. Because of that, it can become a more powerful thing than reality. But once you fly into the hallucinatory state, you're risking madness. You're risking the basic stability of your mind. If you go too far, you may not be able to come back. If you can sit here and dream something funny for 2 minutes and come back, it's nice. But you started dreaming and you don't know where to stop, and it's lost, isn't it? So establishing a very stable body and mind is an important part. If we want to explore mystical aspects, we should know what's imagination, what is not. It needs a very, very focused, stable thing. Right now, this simple thing that you're doing, that consciously like this we go and create another visual impression of something following you, this needs enormous mental work. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just to make sure your breathing is just slightly deeper than normal, it needs a lot of mental work. If you keep on using your mind like this, mind becomes very stable ground. It's not an imaginary, fanciful situation, it's a solid foundation by itself. The whole system of Tantra is like this, that you recreate. If you take this rose petal, I think we told you about this, isn't it? Just take this rose petal, observe this in as much detail as possible, recreate in your mind. If you want, you can make the rose petal fall down from the sky. That much detail you have seen, every millimeter of it, every micromillimeter of it, you observed and now you create. See, right now somebody's painting, okay? How is… somewhere in their mind, the image of that leaf or flower or whatever else is perfect, isn't it? So mind is capable of this. If you take in impressions like this and find expression to this, slowly you exercise this mind like this, now this becomes a very stable and powerful instrument. Now you do yoga, you're not flying away, you're only stabilizing it, stabilizing it, stabilizing it. If it is so stable, you can land just about anything on it. If it's not that stable, then if something bigger comes to you, people break or fall back. Lot of people go back whenever big experiences happen, lot of people. If something big happens to them, they will get frightened about it, they will get defensive about it, they will go backwards. But if they had a very stable mind, they would go… whenever something big happens, they would move forward. This is happening to people not only in spiritual process and mystical dimensions, even in simple physical life. What I'm observing most of the time is if life works, most people become utterly stupid. Very few people use their wealth and affluence for their well-being. Most other people become idiotic. They're going backwards simply because things worked. This need not be so. If things work, you must move forward, isn't it? But this is what will happen. If our system is not ready and things move forward, either materially or psychologically or spiritually, whichever way, if we are not ready and something moved forward, we have gone backwards. This will naturally happen. Even spiritual experiences will set people backwards simply because the necessary preparation and sadhana is not there. That's why it's always controlled. Whenever we are causing any grand spiritual experiences, either in bhavaspandana or samyama, it is seriously controlled. Controlled means it's more controlled than a prison. Yes, it has to be that way. If you leave it, People will fly away into all kinds of things, but that'll not be good for them. It'll set them back. If this one thing everybody settles within themselves, we will use this mind to the best of its capability. Without a personality, you cannot function in the world. But you don't have to be stuck with one persona. When you consciously wear it, it is there for the function, but you don't become that.
Because there's information everywhere nowadays, and everybody is just one second like away from the information, and there's this overwhelming information everywhere. So how to shape up our own individual personality and preserve our individuality? Like, is there a balance between adapting to the changing time and staying to yourself? Like, how?
See, when you say individual personality, see the word personality comes from a root word called persona. Persona means a mask that you wear. To perform a certain kind of function, you have to wear a certain mask. Now you are a sports person. When you are on the court, you have one kind of mask that is needed. That mask must be aggressive, bringing fear in your opponent if necessary, whatever. You need to wear that kind of a mask. You don't wear that mask at home. You don't wear that mask with your friend. Because this mask means you must be able to wear by choice and take it off. In this virus time, everybody is masked, no choice different kind of mask But that is what personality means. To perform different types of activities, we need to structure ourselves in a certain way. But what happens over a period of time, by the time people are 30, 35, they've gotten stuck with one mask. They're not able to take it off. Everywhere they are the same way. Now it'll become a painful experience. If you see between a child, anybody, whatever their age today, when they were 5, 6 years of age, if you see their faces were all like this, one big smile, grinning, you can't stop them from grinning. But slowly it becomes so grave and long. Simply because they are stuck with their own personality. One mask they wore and they can't remove it, all the time it's stuck. So we don't have to crystallize our personality. It's very important we keep our personality so flexible. To perform different types of activities, we should be able to put on different kind of masks. Without a mask, you cannot work. Without a personality, you cannot function in the world, that's for sure. Yeah. But you don't have to be stuck with one persona. You can be a different person as the situation demands, you can be that kind of a person. That is when you will find full expression to yourself, otherwise you will get stuck within a structure that you created. It's a prison that you build and get stuck to it. If somebody imprisons you, that is unfortunate but understandable. But if you imprison yourself, it cannot be anything more stupid than that. But that's what is happening to 90% of the humanity most of the time.
But, to this answer, I would just ask that, talking about mask, but I feel that it's not just to yourself. I know you want to be happy, you just want to remove your mask, be happy, stay happy, but it also depends on the other person that you talk to or you react to. So I'm sure, that time your mask is again on. So what do you do for that? Like, for example, you're talking to a person and you don't like that person and you have to act accordingly to what he say, and you might say like, okay, you know what, that is what he said and I have to act in a way that, okay, I need to be nice to him. So how do you react to that?
See,
because a lot of times it happens, like for everyone, I'm sure.
Tell me, who is that guy first of all?
No. No,
This is going to be news in the country, huh?
No. I meant to say, like, with a lot of people, like, when you're talking to a friend, sometimes, you might be angry at them, sometimes you might not like what they do. Like, for example, your best friend is doing something and, you might not like it, but then you're like, it's okay, never mind. You can't say it on their face saying that, I didn't like it, don't do that. They might get offended, is what I'm saying.
I'm usually saying it on their face most of the time.
Because sir, I have faced a few times, like when you take talking to your friends or other people, you might feel that they're wrong, but you hesitate to tell them. I sometimes can't tell, or there are a lot of people who can't tell on their faces.
See, Sindhu, the thing is, it is not about people being right and wrong. It is just that every human being is acting and living and understanding life according to their understanding and their intelligence. Not everybody can perceive life and understand life to the same extent. If you see, people are the way they are because of the limitations that are there, you would strive to see how to help them to break their limitations rather than making a judgment, they are right, wrong, good, bad, all this. There are different types of people. Everything that everybody does, it is not necessary that you must like it or I must like it, it's not so. But there is no need for us, if you wear a mask to perform a certain function, you are still who you are within the mask. But right now the problem is the mask sits so tight on your face, you cannot distinguish which is the mask and which is me. So when I say a mask or a persona, what it means is you consciously wear. When you consciously wear it, it is there. It is there for the function, but you don't become that. See, when I say you don't become that, right now, you're a tall girl. I saw on any podium you stand, you're like taller than anybody. So you were not born like this, you were born just this much and now you became this much. This is just accumulation, body is just an accumulation. Similarly, what you call as my mind, my thought, my emotion are accumulations. What we gather belongs to us, cannot be us, isn't it? It is not us. Right now this clothing, it may belong to me, but it can't be me. Similarly the body, similarly the structures of the mind. If we become conscious of this, what is me and what is not me, if this one thing everybody settles within themselves, if they are conscious of this, all these are not an issue. We will use this body, we will use this mind to the best of its capabilities and that's all. Especially for you as a sports person, using your body and mind to the best of its capability is all that matters in the end. So right now, you yourself would have noticed, as every human being would have noticed in their day-to-day activity, because you're a sports person, I'm saying for you, because the consequence of you not functioning at your best is immediately right there. For others, if they don't do something well today, it may take 2 years before the results come to them. For you, it is immediate. There's a bad shot right there if you don't function well at that moment. So because of that, it is far more easier for you to notice this, that how many times in your life, your own thought, your own emotion, your own ideas and opinions become a barrier to your function. So, in the world, there are many challenges. Right now we are in a very challenging time, all right? But you yourself, your own faculties, your own thought, your own emotion, your own functioning of your body should not become an impediment in your life. That is the most important thing every human being should do. What the world will allow us to do or not, we don't know. It depends on the times we are in. See, today, because you're in 21st century, you're wielding a racket, but probably if you were here 1,000 years ago, you would be wielding a sword or something else, I'm saying it is the times which is allowing us to do what we are doing. So, at this time, as there are possibilities, there are challenges. In this, if an individual human being, is here, without making our body, our thought, our emotion, our energies be a challenge by itself, if you just remove this one challenge, in your life you will perform to your best. Your best will be the best in the world, we don't know. That is subject to various realities. But the important thing is whether I am the best in the world or not is not important. To your best, you're always on. You are never a barrier to yourself. Other barriers in the world we will have to cross.
If you stayed until now, if you paused your day to listen, that already sets you apart from most. Like the video, comment where you're watching from, and check the links in the description. you'll definitely find more content that continues this conversation with you. Thanks, big hug, and see you in the next video.